we usually spend our time here looking at the big, loud threats to civilization.
Right.
We talk about economic crashes, geopolitical wars, AI taking over the stuff that, explodes.
Big headline.
Exactly. But I was reading through the materials for today, and it really hit me that we might be looking in the wrong direction entirely.
How so?
We're watching the sky for missiles while the ground is, dissolving beneath our feet.
It's the slow motion collapse. That's the term that kept coming to mind for me
Yeah.
while I was prepping.
Yes.
We are being destroyed by some external enemy. I mean, the argument is we're being dismantled from the inside out.
Right.
By a total inversion of values.
That's it. Yeah. And the argument we're unpacking today is that this collapse is being driven by, the mass outsourcing of moral authority to social media performers. Specifically, we're looking at how the confessional social media industrial complex has weaponized female psychology against men, against logic, and against civilization itself.
It is a really heavy premise.
Right.
But once you see the evidence the author lays out, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
We are deep diving into the book Confessional Social Media. Women Confess Immoral Behavior, Vice, and Sin for Clout by Conrad Riker. And let me tell you, autopsy is the right word for what he's doing here.
It really is.
He is dissecting a culture that has completely flipped the incentive structure of society rewarding female dysfunction with power, money, and institutional protection.
Okay, so before we even get into the gears of this thing, and it is a complex, pretty nasty machine, I'm going to be very clear to everyone listening.
Go for it.
This is not a light read. If you want to understand the true red pill perspective on how our institutions were captured and why the world feels so hostile to men right now, you need to go to Amazon Kindle or Google Play Books immediately.
Right now.
And buy this book. Support Conrad Riker. We're going to cover the key insights, but the book is the manual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep getting these kinds of unfiltered truths, the stuff the mainstream algorithm tries to bury, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel right now.
Please do.
We're trying to build a real signal in all the noise here.
So let's get into the machine. Riker talks about the confessional social media industrial complex. Now, to the average guy just scrolling his phone, this just looks like...
Oversharing.
Yeah, women oversharing on TikTok, crying selfies, my truth videos, trauma dumping. Why does Riker call this an industrial complex?
Because it's transactional. That
Yeah.
is the key distinction he makes.
Okay.
Riker argues that, traditional confession, think of a religious context or even therapy, is about seeking forgiveness, atonement, or healing.
Right, it's private.
It's private, and it's about fixing what's broken. But this is about three things: clout, cash, and control.
It's a performance. It's not about fixing the trauma, it's about selling it.
It is strictly performative. And he cites a 2021 Stanford study that is, honestly, it's pretty damning.
The one about the mental health journeys?
That's the one. They analyzed women posting these so-called journeys or trauma dumps online. And the study found that 73% of them exhibited narcissistic personality traits.
73%. That's not a margin of error. That suggests the vast majority of what we're told is bravery is actually just narcissism looking for a mirror.
And the algorithm is the mirror.
Yeah.
But it's a mirror that pays you.
Right.
The book details how Vice gets monetized. This is where the industrial part comes in. Riker brings up the case of a creator named Kayla Marie.
I looked into this one. It's infuriating. She was the one who went viral with domestic abuse allegations, right?
That's her. Built a massive following based on being a survivor. She netted $12,000 via GoFundMe and racked up 2.3 million likes. She was the hero of the hour.
But then
it came out that she fabricated the entire thing. There was no abuse. It was a script.
and this is where the system just reveals itself. If you lie about a crime in the real world, if a man did this, he goes to jail. Or at least loses his career. What happened to her? Nothing.
She kept the money. She kept the clout. The platform didn't demonetize her because the engagement metrics were just too high.
Wow.
And that's Riker's whole point about the incentive structure. The system, the algorithm, is a heat-seeking missile for violation. He quotes an MIT Media Lab statistic showing that content featuring betrayal and deviance gets 4.2 times more amplification than content about kindness or honesty.
So the market signal is clear. Don't be good, be broken. And if you aren't broken, make it up. Because virtue doesn't pay the rent, but vice buys a new car.
Precisely. And the examples, they get worse. There's a woman named Blair who faked rape allegations against a professor and stole laptops from 3 different workplaces.
And she framed it.
She framed the whole thing as part of her #MyTruthJourney.
Let me guess, she profited.
$87,000 in 90 days.
That's a staggering amount of money for criminal behavior. But the one that really pushed the limit for me was my offense.
Oh, yeah.
I had to double check this wasn't satire because it sounds too dark to be real.
It's not satire, but it is incredibly dark. Mia admitted on camera to her audience to drugging her boyfriend with ketamine and filming him while he was unconscious.
Which is a felony. That's drugging and sexual exploitation. If the genders were reversed, the SWAT team would be at the door in 10 minutes.
In a sane society, yes. But in the confessional industrial complex, she gained 410,000 followers and landed a podcast deal.
A podcast deal. See, that's the control aspect Riker talks about. It's not just the money, it's that they are insulated from any consequence. It seems like the more dysfunctional the behavior, the more protection they get.
Riker argues that's because the audience isn't looking for morality. They're looking for the thrill of the violation. But he goes deeper than just the economics.
Right.
He argues there is a biological weaponization at play here, specifically regarding how women manipulate men to let this happen. He uses the term crybully.
I've heard that term thrown around in the manosphere, but Riker seems to define it scientifically.
He does. He breaks down the biology of human tears. Tears aren't just water. They contain chemosignals. Riker cites research showing these signals biologically reduce aggression in observers, specifically in men, by about 35%.
So it's like an evolutionary off switch.
It's exactly that. Evolutionarily, it's meant to trigger a caretaking response. If a woman or child is crying, the male instinct is to protect. It's hardwired into us.
Okay.
But Riker argues that modern women, the crybullies, have hacked this mechanism. They use tears not because they're in danger, but to shut down male accountability.
So when she starts crying in the HR meeting or on the police body cam, the man's biological hardwiring effectively neutralizes his ability to defend himself.
Yes.
He switches from opponent to protector, even if he's the one being victimized.
Exactly. It's a biological hack. And once that defense is down, the network attack begins. Riker calls this the GSR mechanism. Gossip, shame, rally.
This felt like reading a military doctrine. Break down GSR for us.
It acts like an operating system for female social networks. So first, gossip. You seed the narrative, usually a half-truth or something taken out of context. Second, shame. You tag the target, isolate them, make them radioactive. And third, rally. You mobilize the hive mind to destroy the target's reputation.
And the scary part isn't just that it happens, but how fast it happens.
The book cites a University of Michigan study that claims women's online groups default to this GSR mode within 17 minutes of a perceived slight.
17 minutes.
17 minutes. That's barely enough time to make coffee, and you have a digital lynch mob formed against you.
It's mass formation psychosis, like he says. The facts don't matter, only the emotional contagion matters. We saw this with the UPS driver incident he details.
Right, the woman who posted a video claiming the driver told her women shouldn't drive.
I remember that.
The hive mind activated instantly. They wanted him fired. They wanted his life ruined. But then the dash cam footage came out.
And what did he actually say?
He said, "Ma'am, you really shouldn't back out so fast." It was a safety warning.
Of course.
But the truth was irrelevant. The GSR mechanism had already decided he was an oppressor.
It's terrifying. There's no due process in a GSR rally. And this is where the book really shifts gears for me. Riker argues this isn't just an internet problem anymore.
No.
It's leaking out of social media and has captured our actual legal and corporate institutions. He calls it institutional capture.
This was the most philosophical and frankly the most disturbing part of the book for me. He links this capture to a concept he calls repressed motherhood.
Can you explain that connection? How does not having kids lead to a corrupted legal system?
It's a fascinating theory.
Right.
Riker argues that the biological drive to nurture and protect, it doesn't just vanish if a woman rejects traditional family structure.
Okay, so where does it go?
It mutates. It projects onto the state. The state becomes the nursery.
So the government becomes the overbearing mother.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in a nursery, who's the threat? The unruly teenage boy, the male energy.
Right.
In this worldview, men are viewed as latent predators who threaten the infants, who are defined as women in protected groups. And the women themselves are cast as eternal infants, who must be protected at all costs, even from their own actions.
So we treat adult women with the leniency we'd give a toddler, but we give them the power of the state. We infantilize them to save them from accountability.
And Riker points to the double standard in law to prove this. He cites a case in Manchester, UK. A woman stabbed her landlord.
Stabbed him in the leg. That's assault with a deadly weapon.
Anywhere else, yes. But her defense argued that she was ovulating and emotionally labile at the time.
And the court accepted that.
She received a suspended sentence, no jail time.
Unbelievable.
Riker calls this the PMS defense, becoming legitimate legal doctrine. Now, you imagine a man trying to argue in court that he stabbed someone because he had high testosterone that day.
He'd be laughed out of the room and then locked up for 20 years.
That's the war on men made official. It's a two-tier justice system based on biology. And Riker argues, nowhere is this clearer than in family court.
The stats he had were brutal.
Brutal. A Stanford study showed that women who initiate divorce are 3.2 times more likely to cut off a father's access to his children.
It stops being about the child's well-being and it just becomes about power. It's punishment.
It's a system of systemic emasculation, and it's all propped up by a culture that validates false accusations. Riker mentions a woman who went on a podcast and literally admitted to faking a rape claim just to start a conversation.
And she wasn't treated as a pariah for that.
No, she was defended by feminist groups. The logic is that the specific lie is justified because it serves the greater truth of female victimhood.
Yeah.
It's ideological possession.
It seems like this ideology is reshaping the workplace too. Riker talks about the gynocentric conspiracy in hiring.
The tyranny of vibes. You see competent men being purged from corporate environments, not because they failed at their job.
Right, not based on performance.
No, but because a woman felt unsafe or the man was too intense.
There was that leaked group chat he mentioned where women rejected a male founder specifically for being too intense.
Exactly. It's the erasure of masculine competence because it makes the feminine imperative uncomfortable. We are prioritizing emotional comfort over effectiveness. And when you do that to an economy, you get collapse.
Which leads to the economic cost. Riker uses the term catabolic culture. Now, catabolic in biology, that means breaking down muscle for energy. It's a starvation response.
That's the metaphor. He argues our culture is consuming its own future children, family, stability to fuel present-day emotional narcissism. We're burning the furniture to heat the house for 5 more minutes.
And the most stark example of this burning the future is what he calls reproductive theater.
Abortion is branding. It's a very dark chapter. He details the rise of the abortion baddie on TikTok.
Abortion baddie. I'm just saying the phrase sounds dystopian.
It is. He details an influencer who live-streamed her abortion, framing it as an act of liberation, and then sold proud abortionist tote bags.
Wow.
Riker's argument isn't even about the pro-life, pro-choice debate. It's about the cultural ritual. He says this is a performative declaration of female sovereignty against nature. It's anti-life as a fashion statement.
Celebrating the end of a lineage for likes. And financially, it ties into what he calls the consumer queen. We hear about the economy, that women control 70% of discretionary spending. But they also hold the majority of debt.
But they don't call it debt, do they? They call it self-care or manifesting.
Well, girl math.
Girl math.
Right.
Riker breaks that down not as a cute meme, but as a rationalization for financial irresponsibility. Reframing spending as an investment in the self, often with the implicit expectation that a man or the state will eventually bail you out.
It's net negative taxpayer behavior celebrated as empowerment.
It all circles back to this shift in psychology. We've moved past self-esteem. Riker calls it a narcissism pandemic.
We've moved to self-worship.
Yes. He profiles an influencer, Taylor Ray, who claims she's a cosmic queen. She tells her followers her energy literally heals acne.
It's magical thinking. It's solipsism.
It is. But it requires a total shift in morality to sustain it. Riker notes that the idea of the good girl, someone who is virtuous, modest, kind, has been replaced by the confessional narcissist.
Right.
In this new morality, authenticity is the only virtue. So admitting to cheating or stealing or lying is actually applauded as brave.
So vice becomes virtue as long as you post about it. But I want to touch on one last dynamic before we wrap up, because this affects men directly in their relationships. The jealousy engine.
This is critical. You would think a woman would want a successful, high-value partner. But Riker argues that in this narcissistic framework, a high-value man is a threat.
Because if he is successful, he has options, he has agency, he doesn't need her.
Exactly. So he's harder to control. And so the jealousy engine kicks in. Riker describes how women will sabotage their partners, picking a massive fight the night before a big interview, creating chaos during a pivotal career moment. It's a success tax.
She has to knock him down a peg to reassert dominance. If I win, she feels like she loses control.
Precisely. A man on his knees, apologizing for something he didn't do, is safer to the confessional narcissist than a man standing tall and leading.
That is a bleak picture. Riker paints a female-led cultural revolution that rejects duty, glorifies chaos, and replaces truth with my truth.
Where trauma, often self-diagnosed, replaces merit, and where institutions enforce that very delusion.
So, what's the exit strategy? Riker doesn't just leave us in the pit, does he?
No, he has a call to action, and it's very blunt. He says the only way to fix this is for men to wake up,
Stop playing the game.
to stop apologizing for resisting. They need to, as he puts it, reclaim reason from the jaws of sentimentality.
That means refusing to participate in the confessional industrial complex.
Stop clicking. Stop validating. Stop validating the tears that are used to manipulate you.
Oops.
Recognize the cry-bully tactic for what it is, a weapon.
It's about withdrawing your attention, which is the currency that fuels this whole machine.
Exactly. Starve the beast. Don't engage with the drama. Don't rescue the damsel who created her own distress.
Look, we've covered a lot, but we've only scratched the surface of the data and the case studies in this book. Riker has receipts we just didn't have time to get to. You need to read the full autopsy yourself.
Go to Amazon Kindle or Google Playbooks right now. Buy Confessional Social Media by Conrad Riker. The algorithm hates books like this because they expose the game, so you have to actively seek it out.
And follow his ongoing work. He's on Substack at Conrad Riker. He's putting out the kind of analysis you just will not find in the mainstream media.
And please, if you value what we're doing here, shining a light on the things polite society wants to keep in the dark, like this video and subscribe to our channel, it helps us fight back against this gynocentric silence.
We'll leave you with this thought. Riker says that civilization isn't dying from a lack of resources, but from a lack of men willing to say no to emotional blackmail. So the next time you see a viral, tearful confession, ask yourself, is this pain or is this a performance? And who is paying for the ticket?
That's the question.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Stay sharp out there.